Psychology is a scientific field that aims to understand human behavior and mental processes. It covers a broad range of topics and subfields, each focusing on a specific aspect of the human experience. It investigates how biological processes, such as genetics, neurotransmitters, hormones, and brain structures, influence behavior, emotions, and cognition. Biological psychology studies have contributed significantly to our understanding of mental illnesses, addiction, and neurological disorders. The history of biological psychology can be traced back to the work of Charles Darwin, who proposed that humans' behaviors and emotions evolved from animals. Later, scientists such as Paul Broca, Carl Wernicke, and Santiago Ramon y Cajal made significant contributions to the field of neuroanatomy and neurophysiology, paving the way for modern-day research. Some of the central theories in biological psychology include: A. Evolutionary theory proposes that behaviors and emotions have evolved over time through the process of natural selection. B. Behavioral genetics examines the role of genetic factors in behavior and mental disorders. C. Neurotransmitter theory investigates the impact of neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, on behavior. D. Hormonal theory explores how hormones, such as cortisol and testosterone, affect emotions and cognition. Methods used in biological psychology include brain imaging techniques, such as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, and positron emission tomography, PET, animal studies, genetic research, and psychopharmacology. Applications of biological psychology include the development of drugs to treat mental disorders, the identification of genetic risk factors for psychiatric illnesses, and the use of brain stimulation techniques to treat neurological conditions. 1. Clinical psychology. Clinical psychology is a subfield of psychology that focuses on the diagnosis and treatment of mental illnesses and psychological distress. Clinical psychologists work in various settings, such as hospitals, private practices, and community mental health centers, to provide individual or group therapy, conduct psychological assessments, and offer interventions to improve mental health outcomes. The history of clinical psychology can be traced back to the work of pioneers such as Leitner Whitmer, who opened the first psychological clinic in 1896, and Sigmund Freud, who developed the psychoanalytic approach to treating mental disorders. Some of the central theories in clinical psychology include: A. Cognitive behavioral theory proposes that dysfunctional thought patterns and behaviors can be identified and modified to improve mental health outcomes. Clinical psychologists also use various assessment tools, such as psychological tests and interviews, to evaluate mental health symptoms and diagnose mental disorders. Applications of clinical psychology include the treatment of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and other mental illnesses, as well as the development of prevention and early intervention programs. 1. Developmental psychology. Developmental psychology is a subfield of psychology that examines how humans develop physically, cognitively, and socially over their lifespan. It investigates how environmental factors, such as family, culture, and education, interact with genetic factors to shape human development. The history of developmental psychology can be traced back to the work of Jean Piaget, who proposed a stage theory of cognitive development, and Erik Erikson, who developed a stage theory of psychosocial development. Some of the central theories in developmental psychology include: A. Piaget's cognitive development theory proposes that children's cognitive abilities develop in stages, from sensorimotor to formal operations. B. Vygotsky's sociocultural theory emphasizes the role of culture and social interactions in shaping cognitive development. C. Bowlby's attachment theory examines the role of early attachment experiences in shaping social and emotional development. D. Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory investigates how various environmental factors, such as family, peers, and community, interact to shape human development. Methods used in developmental psychology include longitudinal studies, cross-sectional studies, and observational research. Developmental psychologists also use various assessment tools, such as standardized tests, to evaluate cognitive and social development. Applications of developmental psychology include the development of educational programs, the identification of risk factors for developmental disorders, and the design of interventions to promote healthy development. 1. Social psychology. Social psychology is a subfield of psychology that studies how people interact with and influence one another. It investigates social behavior, attitudes, beliefs, and stereotypes, as well as the impact of group dynamics and social influence on individual behavior. The history of social psychology can be traced back to the work of Norman Triplett, who studied social facilitation, and Muzaffar Sharif, who conducted the classic Robbers Cave experiment. Some of the central theories in social psychology include: A. Social cognition examines how people process, store, and use social information. B. Social influence investigates how people are influenced by others, such as through conformity, obedience, and persuasion. C. Group dynamics studies how groups form, interact, and influence individual behavior. D. Intergroup relations explores the nature of prejudice, stereotypes, and discrimination, as well as the processes that lead to their formation. Methods used in social psychology include experimental designs, surveys, and observational research. Social psychologists also use various measurement tools, such as implicit association tests and the use of social media data, to examine social behavior and attitudes. Applications of social psychology include the development of strategies to reduce prejudice and discrimination, the design of effective marketing campaigns, and the development of interventions to improve group dynamics and teamwork. 1. Educational psychology. Educational psychology is a subfield of psychology that studies how people learn and how educational environments can be designed to promote optimal learning outcomes. It investigates the factors that influence learning, such as motivation, attention, and memory, as well as the impact of various teaching methods on student learning. The history of educational psychology can be traced back to the work of Edward Thorndike, who developed the laws of learning, and John Dewey, who emphasized the importance of experiential learning. Some of the central theories in educational psychology include: A. Cognitive load theory proposes that learning is influenced by the amount of information presented and the cognitive demands of the task. B. Self-regulated learning examines the role of self-motivation, goal setting, and self-monitoring in promoting optimal learning outcomes. C. Information processing theory studies how information is processed, stored, and retrieved in memory. D. Constructivism emphasizes the importance of active, experiential learning in promoting cognitive development. Methods used in educational psychology include experimental designs, surveys, and observational research. Educational psychologists also use various assessment tools, such as standardized tests, to evaluate student learning and cognitive development. Applications of educational psychology include the development of effective teaching methods, the design of curricula to promote student learning, and the development of interventions to improve student motivation and engagement. Conclusion. Psychology is a diverse field that encompasses a wide range of subfields and approaches. While this article has provided an overview of some of the major subfields of psychology, it is by no means exhaustive, and there are many other areas of psychology that are equally important. Some of these other areas of psychology include: forensic psychology, the study of criminal behavior and the application of psychological principles to legal issues. Health psychology, the study of the psychological factors that influence health and illness, as well as the development of interventions to promote healthy behaviors and improve healthcare outcomes. Neuropsychology, the study of the relationship between brain function and behavior, as well as the assessment and treatment of neurological disorders. Positive psychology, the study of positive emotions, character strengths, and well-being, as well as the development of interventions to promote resilience and flourishing.